Good evening everybody, and welcome to another fix. This is a PS4 and it is suffering from the old slow blod, as you can see. It's just going to sit here and sit here and sit here. It is getting quite hot, and it not seem to shut down either. It's just getting just sitting there. Right, I think we better get this apart. I think this would be a good candidate actually for the Uart. Now I'm using Uarts out of these to do a lot of diagnosis. The last two have been great. The last one diagnosed the USB fault, and I think we'll give this one a go at diagnosing the blod, the slow blod. Right, what I should do is see if we can't speed the taking up of this apart. Right, let's get this thing apart. Okay, I think this is a good candidate to use the NOR diagnostic method. So NOR's going to have to come out. We'll dump the NOR, validate, check the NOR contents are good, and that's not causing the blob. And then reprogram the NOR with the Uart patch, and then see how we go from there. Right, we'll give it a good look over first, just to make sure there's nothing silly, as in like any spillage or anybody's done anything stupid. I gotta be honest, it doesn't look like it's been apart, but all the seals on the back were broke, but all the other screws felt right and they weren't missing. You can normally tell when a board's been taken out as a rule, unless somebody who's another tech's had it apart, which is possible. But what I'm going to do is we'll just get these pads out of the way. We'll make a few checks just to make certain that the obviouses are not missing. There's a couple of voltage rails that I've seen people mention them as can cause blood, although I've never had them cause it, but I will check them. In fact, the last blood I had, I think was crikey, about 6 months back, and that was a no fix, but I'm pretty certain that was the APU. I still got the board, because once I sort the BJ machine out, I will pop the thing off and have a look. The thing about this one is it's not shutting down, it's staying in blue light, and everything's running quite warm. So it does sort of seem relatively different problem, although it's still blue light. The battery was flat on here. It was corroded as well, so I thought we'd change that, although it's unlikely it cause a slow blod. I have had it cause a few peculiarities, but certainly nothing like this. The only other thing, there's 3.3 volt regulator that feeds the USB hub, which I've just had caused me a real headache of a problem, and the last video I did is in fact that found that using the Uart. That was great again, because that was an intermittent problem, and Uart found it just like that, which was pretty good. The other thing, as they're saying on the board, is there's a 3.3 volt and a 5 volt. In fact, the 5 volt is the feed to that particular 3.3. It can go missing before or after the regulator and cause the problem. So Once I get this battery in, I'll check that. I'm not sure which one of these are the better ones. 3 volt, what we got here? 3.1, that seems a better one. We'll pop that in. Oh, the old holder's a little bit baggy. I think probably could do it with a new one. But we'll worry about that if we can find this blod. But, let's just see what we got. Yeah, 3.1 under load, so battery's alright. Okay. Let's have a look, see what we got here and there. Right, down the bottom, let's just get this clip on. Down the bottom here, right down by the view, it's on the opposite side of the board to the 3520, the USB hub. You've got 3 devices, and one of them is the switch, or the 3.3 volt switch, which is just this camera bit. There we go. And that's the little 5-pin device. To the right, I'll point it to you in a minute. That one. Just give it a wipe. Yeah, you see the copper pad there. That's 3.3 volt. I haven't got the meter displayed on at the moment. And then the 5 volt is on the pin 1 of the same device. Either of those can cause problems, but I don't for 1 minute they cause a blob. I know they can cause a sort of a blod, as in powers on for a few seconds and then goes off again, but normally if you've got a blob that's staying on. Right, let's get this gnaw off. As I say, not too much heat on the chip, plenty around it on the board and the pins because it's a psych, so you don't need to get the chip too hot. I'm blowing about 420 at about 60%. There we go, it's not too bad. So we'll move that out of the way. Just there we go, pop it over it. Right, we'll get the pads cleaned up. And we'll get the chip red. So I'll just get these pads cleaned up. Yeah, nice bit of flux. Oh, an iron. Oh, I've got to find where I put my flux. Somewhere here. How do I put that? Yeah, tiny little bit. Right, let's just touch them up. I'm using, I don't know, probably about 370. It's fairly warm. That's a thick old bit of board just there as well. But the trouble is the old hang takes put off stink, but it's a good job. Does a good job rather. But the extractor's on anyway, as you can see, it's sucking it away. Right, let's get a bit of the old lady's toothbrush on there. I must remember to put that back in her jar. And give that a bit of a scrub. You can see it somewhere. Yeah, as I say, I do apologise about the voiceover on this. I did lose all the audio on the whole recording. It was about 3 or 4 hours over 2 days. And unbeknown to me, the 2 microphones were plugged in, and of course all I got was an unusable recording. So now I'm having to go back and try and piece it together, because half the audio that's there I can't make out anyway. So it's a case of looking at it and trying to tell you what I did as went along. Right, well, the chip's out, so the next item, or the next thing to do, will be to read the chip so that we can validate it and just make sure that there isn't anything wrong with the chip, and make certain that isn't causing the issue. And then once we've done that, we can generate a patch file from that file that we download off the NOR, and patch it so it enables the Uart, reload the chip or the data back into the NOR, fit the NOR back on the PS4, and then run the boot up and see what it tells us. Right, okay, let's just grab the programmer. Somewhere down here. There we go. Let's just get this out of the way. It's my UFPI unit, which just about reads any conceivable type of chip you can think of. You don't need to get anything as wildly expensive as what this blooming thing is. The little CH43 something 1 programmer that you can pick up quite cheap. There's a zip file from the BWE website that's got all the software in it, and also places where to get the programmer from. I have actually got the cheap programmer, and I have proved it does work. I've checked it and it all works fine. So I'll make sure they're loaded on here as well. What we're going to do, we're going to use a holder, which you can see. At the moment I've still got a chip in it, which was from I can't remember what was wrong with that, but I think that one of them was actually a brand new chip that I cloned, just tried to clone, and the other one is from a strapped PS4, but I can't remember what the issue was. But the NOR was good, so it's not, wasn't the NOR anyway. So what we've got to do is get the NOR in this thing. It's a shame that I've managed to get everything in the way, so you can't see me putting the thing in. One of my typical problems, framing. Anyway, the chip's in, as you can see. And what we'll do, yeah, I should have done that a minute ago. We'll hook it up into the programmer. Yeah, put it up the right way. And then we'll, what we'll do, we'll get it plugged in and we'll read the chip. Okay, just got the green LEDs on, as you can see. It's just actually initializing at the moment, and it's actually updating the firmware in my programmer. So I'll just take a second or so. Right, it looks like it's done. Okay. There we go, it's rebooted. And now it's interrogating the chip. Just bear with it a second, it's just got to reboot the programming software at the moment, because as I say, it's updated everything. Yep, it's all in the right voltages. Just making sure what type it was. There's various versions, E and F. That was an F. I had to go and have a look to see what it was. Just select the F option in the software, and then the software will take over in a minute. You'll see it come up. So far we've got a PS4 OG with a slow blod, which in fact is permanently slow, permanently blue light. Chips are getting hot, APU's getting hot, can't find any shorts, can't find any problems anywhere. So decided to take the NOR out and we're going to dump the gnaw. Here we go. So that's showing you the gnaw. It's telling you that it's found the gnaw, it's telling you the size, it's telling you the make there. And I think right at this moment in time, I'm actually sorting out a folder. Just having a read to see what it says on read 2 line up the top here. I haven't actually wrote it in there yet, so I'm still looking for the folder. This is the only trouble when you have to go back and voice over. It's trying to remember everything you did off camera while you was doing everything on camera, if that makes any sense. Probably not, but there you go. Okay. I suppose I could hit the fast forward button. Yeah, it won't take many seconds, just bear with me, guys. Okay. Yeah, I'm still here. Just bear with me. I'm looking for the folder to read the file into on the PC. So once I sorted that, then this all I'll be with you. Right, there we go. So I've now named it as white, as you can see in there, top bin. So now the R button's been selected. That will now read in a second. You'll see a should see a green bar go across the bottom. There we go. Right, now that's read the that gnaw. It tells you the difference there. Now what I'm going to do is go back up to this line. Where it says read 2, I'm going to change the name of the file to a 1 or 2 and read it again. What I'm actually doing at the moment, I'm trying to find the option to drop the speed of the clock down, but for some reason it's got erased chip in place where the clock speed used to be. So my guesses are that update that's just happened, it's changed the GU, the GUI. And I don't sit looking for it, so I should probably just read it again. Normally take 3 readings and then compare them, and if they're all good, you can assume you've got a good reading, and then use one of them to validate, to check that the software is good, which we'll do, and then create the patch file, which we then what we'll do then is erase the gnaw, write the patch file in, then read the patch file back and just make sure that it's the same as the file that we wrote in. If it is, then you know you're all good to go. Not too sure why it's taking so long here, but oh, here we go. So I'm writing on here what I'm doing. You can just see there it goes again. So we've taken another reading. That was number 2. Number 3 is coming up. There we go, number 3. Right, so I think now we'll probably be going over to the validator. You got to remember, I've got to try and remember what I did. This was done over Friday, Saturday, and this morning. No, Friday, Saturday. This morning, I think it was when I found actually cured the problem. So yes, you know I cured it now. I'll give it away. Never mind. Right, so we've got 3 readings. I would think I'm looking at that. Looks like I'm trying to. Am I reading again? Oh, I have read again. Yeah. So I doubled that one up. All right, normal clock. I see what I've done here. Okay, I'm whittling on, but don't worry about me. So we've got 3 readings of that gnaw, different names. So what we're going to do now is, I think probably what I've done is done the comparison, but for some reason or other I didn't record it because I can't see it on any video unless it's further along in this bit. So my guesses are that I would have gone into the comparator. Right, okay, so we've got the files in the folder. All we need now is the comparator, validator, and we'll validate the any one of the files. I normally pick number 1. So what it does, it will go through and check the file and make sure that the file is valid and it's got no faults with it, because the file itself can cause a blob. Looking at this so far, it looks okay, because this is the first time I've seen this as well. Okay. So far, so good. 0 warning, 0 danger, 0. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, patch the file for Uart. Yeah, that's all good. Okay, right, well, what we need to do now then is we need to go back to the normal, and probably the best thing to do would be to now I'm just going to save one more backup. Okay, right, what we need to do is we need to exactly erase the chip. Now this can take a little bit of time because it just does, because it erases, checks, erases, it just takes a bit longer. We need to erase the chip and then need to write the new patch file in. Okay, that's just read the erase bin, so I'm just checking to see if it has erased it. It should have done. What we should do, we should get, I think I opened the file in a hex edit just to make sure it was all FFs. I'm pretty certain I did. So we should see that in a minute. Yeah, there it is. So all the files there, top to bottom, all FF. So it's empty now, the NOR. So now we need to write the patch file in. That will be, it will come up in the write from line once it's loaded, and the W will be the button that's pushed. Because I'm actually overdubbing the audio, I can't, oh there we go, the red W, so I'm writing it now then. Yeah, because say writing is slower. Yeah, so I'll write the patch file and then I shall read that back and just compare it. Again, so I said, you don't need to use the UFPI, which is quite an expensive unit. You can use the one that BWE, I think, list, and it's a little CH341, I believe. I'll try and put a link to their site where you can download all the information and files about downloading and how to set up a reader. But as I say, this is the first time I've used the Uart method to see if we can diagnose a blood. So I thought I'd show it. Right, okay, so we've now uploaded the file. And there we go, that's the comparison chart. So both the files are identical. Otherwise it will show you it's different. Right, now I'll get back to putting the chip back onto the board. that tube of whatever it was my I'm diabetic, and it's like a sugar for when my sugar gets low. So we need to fit the chip back on the board. So we'll grab the chip off the board, off the out the reader, and proceed with that. You can tell that the audio doesn't follow the video 100%. I got to apologise. It's just one of them things. Yeah, make sure you get the chip in the same way round you took it out. Otherwise, it does not work. You know that. I don't need to tell you that. Right, just sticking the other two chips back with it so I don't lose them. Stick them back in the drawer. And I really, there we go. My two special bits of thingy. Rolled in my thingy, what's it? All it does, it just gets the board off the bench and stops that silicon from sucking the heat out the board when you're trying to solder anything. So right, we're going to pop the knob back on. I'm going to use solder paste for this. I tend to use solder paste just for everything, to be honest. Oh, a cup of tea here somewhere. That looks good. You can tell how bad my hands are. It's shaking. It looks like one of those things that draws, what is it, earthquakes. That's because my sugar levels got so low and went down to about 3, which is a bit dangerous. And I just had to have a few of those tubes, that glucose stuff you saw. I'm all right now. That was Friday. This is now Sunday. Don't forget, if you like the video, guys, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you can. I'd appreciate it. As I say, it's all good. It goes for a good cause. Oh, sorry about that guzzling. I just suddenly realised you could probably hear that while I was drinking my tea. I've got a throat mic on, which didn't probably help. Oh well, I enjoyed it. Okay, as you can see, chasing the chip, as I call it. When using paste, you don't want to go down too close to the chip. Get the paste nice and warm so it just goes a bit crunchy, and it will hold the chip where it is. In fact, I had to hold that. The reason why the paste was so runny isn't normally, is because of the heat in this room. I think even now it's about 102 in here at the moment. That's what your noise in the background is of all the chillers running. And there's 3 big water cooled units running in here. They do get a bit warm. Okay, well, that's looking good. We'll just have a quick blast under the microscope. Oh, that's why I burped myself. Right, let's have a look. Push the button. Mr. B. God, he's slow, this bloke, isn't he? Come on, we want to see what you can see. Thank you. Take your time. Yeah, looking good. Right, let's give it a clean up. I must remember to put my old lady's toothbrush back tonight. I've left it out since Friday. She'll miss that. There we go. Okay. Give that a good old scrub, and then we'll get hook up some leads, hook up the Uart, hook up a bit of a heatsink, and just see if we can see what's going on. No, they look pretty good. Right, okay, so connecting the Uart, I connect it what I call the Christmas tree on here. There's some test points, and when you look at them, they look like a Christmas tree. I'll show you in a second. There they are there. Let me just move the board down a bit. I've got my finger on them there. And you want the one at the bottom and the one on the top left of the Christmas tree. The one at the bottom is the ground, and the one, this one, and then the third one, so on the left side, is the lead that goes to the RX on the Uart, but that is the TX lead actually on the board. So you can pop your leads on, and I think I was just sorting some cables out to pop on there. I'll leave it on because it may help show you where they go. I just hope this audio is okay and this is going to make sense. I should be annoyed if it didn't work out. As I say, it was a good one to capture. Right, there we go, a bit of the old Amtech. Yeah, I'm doing my normal trick here, aren't I? I've got it off screen. I'm terrible for that, forgetting to check the monitor. So everything I do is just slightly out of shot. Maybe I might notice it. Will I notice it? Will I, buggery? Well, it's the third pin there. That's the one that goes to the RX on the Uart. And that one now, that's the ground. The reason the smoke was coming straight up is because my sucker tube was just off to the right of my hand. Straight with my bloody fingers. There's your earth. Now I wonder if I do pull the board down a bit so you can see it. No, bloody might know it. I'm useless. Well, it's the you can see which pad it is. You'll see it in a minute anyway. That on the board it's the TX, but it goes to the RX on the Uart. Basically. So then all we got to do is plug the Uart into the computer, set up a terminal, and Bob's your auntie. Let me just have a look at this. Right, let's see if we can get a slightly. Just have a look at this. Let's see if we can get a bit closer to the Uart connections. There they are. I knew they was on it. So the low one is earth, and the red one it goes to the receiver on your, or the ones marked RX on Uart. and on that board that would be the TX. Okay, so we've got some heatsink on. All we've got to do now is hook this up and see what we capture on the old Uart. Right, and I've chopped a little bit out because there was a lot of flapping about, and I want to try and take this straight over to where we go to capturing from the Uart, because all it was connecting up. As you can see, we're connected. We've got the fan blowing over the heatsink, hard drive in Uart is all connected. As soon as I take the reading, it will come up on the screen. I can't think for life of me at the moment what the delay was. I can't remember if I had to reboot the PC or something stupid or answer the phone. I can't remember what it was, but there was a gap here. I suppose I could cut it out. Oh, there it is. Right. Now this is prior to actually starting the PS4 for the first time on the Uart. And there we got our answer. BCT0 disabled, BCT1 disabled. That is actually the memory. So that involves 4 chips, 2 above, 2 below. That would be, I'm not sure if they're on this bit of video. Right, as it happens, it was on the next section of the video. So what we've got is the picture or drawing picture of the memory, and the issue is 0101, so it's top and bottom, so they're the 4 chips that make up that block. And it either means, I'm pretty certain, because when I felt them, they was all slightly warm, and in fact in a moment you'll see I did use the thermal cam to look at the chips. Now this has just come up because I took another log to see what was going on, and it didn't change, and here comes a thermal cam. Now on here you'll see virtually everything comes on nice and even together, and that is pretty consistent with the slow blod. The thing is, it depends which balls can crack. If it's a data ball, or an address ball, or chip select ball, then yeah, the chips are going to vanish when the system is looking for them. But they're still connected. This is the thing, and evidently the power supplies are still connected, because that's the chip, that's one of them I'm pointing at, and the one below it, and the one slightly to the back of it there, right in front of that bright spot, which is the fan, by the way. They're the 2. And the fact that everything looks nice, the even temperatures, yeah, you showed us already once. Piss off. Thank you. The fact they showed us, they all sort of, it's not drawing excessive current, everything is quite normal, would sort of lend the feeling that this is possibly a cracked ball. Now normally with cracked balls, they can be intermittent, where when it's hot they work, when it's cold they don't. That happens a lot on the Xbox. And you can sometimes get around this. There we go, look at that. Absolutely, you couldn't want for a more even spread, could you? There's nothing wrong with them. Those chips are fine, they're not faulty, that's definite. So the fault is going to be either, it's got to be a cracked ball, it must, it's got to be. It's on one of those 4 chips, or it could be actually on the corner of the APU, because I've got a board here I can look at and can see where the traces come to those 4 chips. Now when I heated it up, you can see that this has actually tried to boot a little bit further, if you see that. And what I did there was I just used the hot air gun just to warm the chips, and that's what happened. Now what I'm going to do, I've got some more videos. What I did, I heated the chips up and didn't reflow them, just heated them, and found that I could get the thing to boot completely. and I'll try and load that up now and show you that. Right, okay, it's actually on this log. What it was I heated it up and booted it again. Here you go. And you can see that it's actually gone for boot. Now it won't go all the way because I haven't got the hard drive in. But you see it's recognised the Genesis, USB ports. It's failed there because the hard drive's not in. Right in the third row up. Here you go. Look, failed to mount system, blah, blah, blah. And all I've done to do that was actually warm the chip up. Now, I did find that when I left it to go cold, it did in fact fail again. In fact, it failed more than once. It failed quite a few times when it was cold. And I got to the point where I could heat it up and freeze it with freezer, and to get it to boot and not boot, which is quite good. I'm not sure what's on the end of this little bit of video, so I'm just going to let that play out for a second, just while I just going to have a little look. Yeah, I've got low end of other captures here. I've got probably another 15 vids of where I kept going in different directions with it, but you don't need to see all them because they were really just more of the same. But what I'm going to do is stop this one here for the moment and see if I can find you one where I got it to boot and captured the video as well. See, that is where I kept booting it. Did I have I might have plugged the hard drive in that time looking at it. Yeah, I think that was one of the times it did boot, but I hadn't got the HDMI port plugged in. Okay, so I think on the next section of the video, I pretty certain was on the bench, so I've just loaded the next section in. Again, there's no audio, so I'm going to have to go. Oh, right, yeah. What this was after that, because that was where I used the thermal camera. What I did here was I'd moved the power supply off the board, obviously. I think I decided that heatsink to take that metal trim off it that goes around it, so that the RAM trips could run hotter. That way, I could get to them and heat them up. The problem I was having with that blue heatsink, it was a little bit too small, and the CPU was just shutting it down. And this chip, this CPU, keeps it running, but I can't get to the memory to heat them up. So that's the issue with that. So what I've got now is to find this other bit of video where I actually shrunk the heatsink even more. And all I did do in the end, I reflowed the chip that I thought was the culprit, and it would seem like that was the problem because it's been all right ever since. But I'm trying to show you the what I did in the way of doing it all. Looking at what I was doing there, I was turning the monitor on, so maybe this is one of the ones where I did capture it on the monitor. I don't know. I'll have a look and come back, save wasting time. Right, yeah, I sorted it out. This last bit of video was after I'd reflowed the chip. It's the, unfortunately you can't see the chip in the shot, but it's the, it's 0, it's the one on top. It's just under the heatsink by the fan. You've got 3 along the bottom, then as it goes under the fan, it's the first chip there. Found it quite easy in the end. I heated it up enough to actually reflow it, and it worked fine. But before that, what I was doing was heating it up, expanding the balls, it would boot. I freeze it with a can of freezer and it stopped booting. I did top and bottom, and it kept, you know, you could make it work, not work. But after I reflowed it this time, it's been fine. You can see at the moment it's just going through a boot. I got a feeling that it stopped there. If I'm reading correctly, it stopped because the hard drive's not connecting properly. I did have an issue where I'd put the hard drive in and hadn't quite got it in properly, so I had to just reset it and restart it, and you'll see it does boot quite well, and it's still booting. And so it's about 8:30 Sunday here, and I've got it on the bench and it's just booted up again. It's been on, I don't know, I had it on for about 2 hours prior to that, and that's on that little heatsink, not doing anything, just sitting on desktop. So it wouldn't got an awful lot hotter, and there's no heat sinks on the RAM, so I'm pretty certain that we should be okay. Mind you, the issue would happen more when it's cold, so what I should have to do is let it cool. I'll give it a good freeze with the freezer again and try again. But the room at the moment, this room's about 100 degrees, so it's not easy. But I'm pretty 100% sure that's cured it. As I say, it was so it just wouldn't boot to start with at all. You could push down on the chips, you could do anything, it wouldn't make any difference. It was only after I heated the chip up things started to happen. But that can be a favourite one on the Xbox. There we go. She's booted. Brilliant. Oh my word. What do you reckon, Chris? Yeah, I know Chris has been following this. That's the second one now we've found an obscure fault with using Uart. The last video I posted was we found the USB hub, power failed to the USB hub, which was a good one to find. Well, I'm pleased that's got to the end of that. I just hope that this video is going to make some kind of sense. As I say, I've been so many bits and pieces that I've had to glue together, redo some bits because I tried to redo some bits and put the audio back on, but I just gave up. So all I've done is glued the original bits together. Hope you enjoy it. Please give us a like and also subscribe. Come and join the fun. Take care all.